Assalamualaikum and good afternoon, peeps, and welcome to round 12 of the round 11 of the championship. Sorry, getting ahead of myself. Here at Austria, we are in Q3. First part of Q3 was a little bit damp. It was still slicks though, which is why we were able to get a 105.8, and we currently find ourselves in P6. So we've got one lap at the end of qualifying to see how far we can get. Up at Canada, we managed to get P2, P3 was it? Either way, heading down into turn 1, using up all of the track, braking at about 70 meters, clip the apex, and squeeze on the power on the exit. We could have taken it a little bit quicker than that. I think we could have braked a little bit later, taken a bit more speed. But there you go. Into turn 3, braking just after the 100-meter ball, drop it down into first, and then short shift up on exit. I think that was a pretty good run on the exit of turn 3, to be honest. Anyway, now we begin our descent down the hill here at Austria. Again, braking just after the 100-meter ball, down to third gear, short shift up to fourth at the apex, using up all of the track on the exit. Again, I think I could have been a bit more greedy with the power. 40 meters on the brakes, down to fifth gear, squeezing on the power on the exit again, and then absolutely throw the car into that left-hander. We run a little bit wide. If that was strict corner cutting, we would get our lap invalidated, but it's not. Again, using up all of the track, down to 7th, carry the speed, carry the momentum a little bit wide, down to 5th, and we're going to push those track limits. We have a bit of a moment with the rear, but we'll hold it, and that is a 103.4 here at Austria, which is enough for P5, and considering that my time trial best is a 103.1, I will take a 103.4. Sure, we pushed the track limits, and to be honest, if we didn't, maybe it'd be a 103.7, 103.8, but I will 100% take that. I'm super happy with that lap. We are half a second off Valtteri. How he's got 102.8 is insane. I mean, that would be, you know, top 500, I think, on time trial leaderboards. And yeah, we're only a couple of tenths behind Verstappen and Hamilton. So yeah, I'm happy with that. There were definitely bits that we could have improved on. But yeah, it's time to head into the race. Right, so we're going to be going softs onto hards. As you can see, those hards will be dead come the end of the race, and as always, we're going to take our fuel right down to under to below what we need, because it's just so easy to save fuel in the salty peanut racing car. So starting from P5, as always, put it in lean, ERS into mode 3, get around the 11,000 RPM mark. We get to 10.8. and it's a really good getaway. In fact, the second stage is really good, but then we kind of drop back a bit. Nice and late on the brakes, down into turn 1. We go around the outside of the racing point, have a bit of a moment with the rear end, but we keep it in check. We're already up at 2 P4. We've gained 1 position, exactly what we need. We're going to use up our ERS and our fuel, heading up the hill, 100 meters on the brakes. Don't brake too late, because you might just run into the back of Max Verstappen, as we almost do. We get an okay run, and we are right in the slipstream of the Red Bull, using up our fuel and ERS. Nice and late on the brakes, we're going to chuck it down the inside of Max. Job done, and we're up to P3, and we knew we needed to get these moves done as soon as possible, because if we didn't, those Mercedes would just be able to run away ever so slightly. But we run wide through the left-hander. Max shows his nose, we hold it around the outside, and we keep hold of P3. But now, Lewis is over a second ahead of us, which is not what we needed. We needed to be within a second for that DRS. So now it's time to get our heads down, push, and close in to within a second of Lewis, so that we can just keep on pushing. On lap 6, we are now within a second of Lewis. It's right at a second, but we brake a little bit later than Lewis, so we get to within that 1 second DRS zone. So finally, after 5 laps, we are within a second of Lewis, and Bottas is 3.3 seconds off the road, so not too bad. And on lap 9, we are getting closer and closer. Bottas is now under 3 seconds ahead of us, and we've just been able to use the DRS from Lewis to save up our fuel, keep our ERS not too low, and this is all that we want to do, just save up our fuel. We're on lap 9, so we want to be pitting in a couple of laps as well. And yeah, just head us down and keep a focus, because we're doing a good job. And on lap 12, the pit window has now opened. We brake nice and late down into turn 1. Bottas still within 3 seconds of us. We're going to use our ERS up into Rich as well, and we're just going to fly past the Mercedes on the run up into turn 3. Nice and late on the brakes. We leave Lewis room just in case he wants to throw his nose in. Job done, and now we can try to hunt down Valtteri. To be honest, we should pit this lap, but our pace seems good, so we're going to stay out for a little bit longer. And on lap 14, You can see that we try to stay up for as long as possible. We are now within 2 seconds of Valtteri, but that tyre wear is pretty darn high. So, yeah, it's, I mean, we just try to match the Mercedes. If they're not pitting, why do we need to pit? And at the end of lap 14, we decide we're going to come in the pits with the craziest pit entry that ever existed. We use the grass, we lose the back end, we dive onto the brakes and lock up and everything. And, yeah, that's a pit entry and a half. So, I think Lewis behind us, he gets held up by, I think, the Red Bull coming past him. So, we're going to chuck on the hard tyres, only have to do 21 laps, and we should be good to go to the end of the race. And there you can see Lewis is much further behind because he got held up in his pits by Max Verstappen, who came past. We come out in P6, that's all well and good. So now, heads down, let's try to put in a mega outlap, because when Bottas comes out ahead of us, we've gained 6 tenths. He's only 1.2 ahead of us, but sadly we are not within that DRS range. And this is the point where I also noticed Bottas is on medium tyres, and from all of the practice I'd done at Austria for my ERS race, hards, softs were the way to go. Those mediums will be dead for Bottas come the end of the race, just like in our race with Techno. So hopefully we can use that to our advantage in the final few laps and really try to close in onto the Mercedes. Lap 20, Bottas has now pulled a 3.7 second gap, really using those mediums, and Hamilton has finally got to within a second of us. Up until this point, he was over a second behind, but on this lap he has managed to bring it down to under a second. And on lap 22, he's really close to us, and this is the point where I decide I don't want to fight with Lewis. I'm going to let him pass, because I know these tyres are going to come back to me in the later stages of the race. So I'll let Lewis pass, and I think Lewis might be able to close in onto Bottas. He's 5 seconds up the road. So by using that DRS, it does mean that we should be able to save up our fuel, and we are still negative. And you can see we drop it down into standard and then lean on the straight just so that we don't overtake Lewis. So yeah, we're just going to sit in behind and try to save up. And on lap 26, we are still within that half a second. Bottas, though, he's up 4.7 seconds up the road. We're not really closing, but we're maintaining the gap, which, to be honest, is better than we might otherwise be doing. And that fuel is now pretty much dead even, and on lap 29 you can see that's the case. And I think I also got a radio message from Jeff telling me that Lewis is having some kind of issue with the car. So at that point I thought, okay, no point in sitting behind Lewis, let's just go for the move. We knock it past him, we drop it down into standard on the run into turn 3. Again, we leave room for Lewis into the hairpin. Jump down, we get a good exit as well. We're 4.5 seconds behind Bottas with 7 and a bit laps remaining. So yeah, heads down to see if we can catch that. But on lap 32, we're still 4.6. We're not catching Bottas at all. And Lando Norris is DNF, and now we get a safety car as well. So yeah, that's, I don't know if that's good or bad, to be honest, because it does mean that those medium tyres get a chance to rest, but at the same time, we'll be right behind Valtteri. So this is our big chance to go for the race win. And I did consider pitting for soft tyres, but in the end I decided no, track position is a key. And as you can see, we didn't warm up our tyres properly, and that really cost us on the restart. Valtteri's already pulled out pretty much a second, and yeah, if we had pitted for softs, we would have come out in about P5. And yeah, you can see that we just don't have the grip, we lose the back end, and just not getting the right preparation in. Now our tyres are kind of warmed up, but it's too little too late. Valtteri is a second ahead. We don't have DRS, so it wouldn't have mattered anyway. But yeah, and on lap 36, Valtteri is 1.8 seconds off the road. To be honest, this is this point where we usually just run, we do a bit of a race recap. I think Valtteri was quicker than us, even at this point. Our hard tyres are at 60%, pretty much. So if we were on those mediums, that tyre wear would be 75% or something. So I think we made the right call to go for the hard tyres. It just seems that the Mercedes tyre wear is a lot less than ours, and there you go. We're at, okay, 50 to 55. So if we were on the mediums, I think we'd be at about 65 to 70. Maybe it was a right strategy call, I don't know. If that safety car didn't come out, then we'd probably be at 70%. So I think we made the right decision. The Mercedes pace is just too much for us. And even if we had our tyres warmed up, I think Valtteri just had the pace at the end of the day. But either way, through complete, pure pace, we will take P2 here at Austria.
Well done, good finish. You stepped up and achieved what we asked. Good job.
So yeah, P2 here at Austria, we will take that. And soft tyres at the safety car, maybe we would have got fastest lap, but in the championship standings, we are up to P4, only 40 points behind Valtteri at pretty much the halfway point in the season. So we really have a shot for the championship. And with Silverstone, Spa coming up next, two of my favourite circuits, probably my two favourite circuits to be honest. This is a big, big chance for us to jump them in the championship standings. So yeah, on that note, we're going to end things here, and I'll catch you guys next time. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more.